Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a wrestling classic. Justin here, back for the TWC Show live on Dash Radio every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the Dash Talk X channel. But for everybody else that does not have the Dash Radio app, which you should get the Dash Radio app, we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Sovin, wherever you listen to podcasts, search the TWC Show and you will find this show as well as all my casual conversations, which we will touch on in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we have two hosts of the show, regular hosts of the show at this point. Daniel from the Dropkick Podcast. What's going on?
It's good, man. The releases caught me off guard, but you know who's still there? Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. And we got Sock Monkey Mike. Mike Monkey Sock Money Mike, Michael Wexler. I don't know what his name is anymore. He changes it more than the WWE cuts people's names. What's going on, Mike?
Nothing much. I do appreciate that humble introduction, but yeah, I'm here.
He's here. So, guys, this episode of the TWC Show, guys, if you are looking for a WrestleMania recap, we already recorded that. Me and Daniel covered night one. We had Vic come on to cover night two with us because he was really sad that Edge lost. So, guys, if you want to hear my thoughts on WrestleMania, you want to hear Daniel's thoughts on WrestleMania, you want to hear Vic cry about Edge losing and the Tribal Chief retaining the World Universal Championship, guys, the recap is already out. It's on. If you're subscribed to the Patreon, if you're a Patreon member, the video of that whole conversation is out for you. But the audio is out there too for wherever you listen to the TWC Show, guys. So if you want to hear our thoughts, unfiltered, unscripted, straight up, non-neutral, unbiased thoughts about WrestleMania, check that out. Of course, I'll touch on a few things. Like for those of you that already know, I'm sure you know that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair was the match of the night for me, and I would recommend all you guys go check that out. But definitely go check out the triple threat from night two. Definitely go check out Cesaro and Seth, Owens and Zayn, and a lot of other stuff that on this show that was dope. We will talk about what happened this week, the fallout on Raw and NXT, and we'll even talk about Dynamite. We'll talk about the releases that we just heard about today. But before we get to that as well, guys, go sign up to the Patreon. You can watch the TWC Show, like our faces right now. You can see what we're doing, the funny face Mike just made. If you want to see this stuff, you got to sign up to the Patreon. You get the TWC Show in video form. So make sure you guys do that. Sign up to the Patreon. It starts as low as $2. We just gave away an Ultimate Edition Hollywood Hulk Hogan figure this past weekend. We're going to be doing more giveaways, exclusive merch, extra shows, bonus shows. And I'm going to start doing the Discord, Ask Me Anything and stuff like that as well. So make sure you guys sign up to the Patreon. The link will be below in the description of this episode of the TWC Show. Last but definitely not least, a couple of casual conversations are scheduled to come up. And I'm going to talk about one because it's already been recorded. It's done. It's in. It's ready to be released on Tuesday. And that is with none other than All Ego Ethan Page. Sock Monkey Mike co-hosted that with me, and since I've been talking so much right now, I'm going to let Mike describe how the interview was and how he felt about it.
Oh my goodness, that was a great conversation. I felt like that with All Ego Ethan Page. We really heard his story, which was amazing. Really cool guy. It was an honor kind of getting his insight and picking his brain a little bit of the wrestling business and his journey. I mean, it was a great conversation. We had a lot of talk about, especially with Canadian stuff that I can't relate to because I don't live in Canada. But regardless, it was such a great conversation. Justin kept the flow going. And I was just there to ask the questions that I really, really wanted to ask. But that episode, hopefully, as far as we know right now, as of the timing of this recording, it is coming out on Tuesday. So make sure you guys go check it out on the Wrestling Classic YouTube channel. And it is great. Thank you to AEW and thank you to Ethan Page for letting us get a conversation with them. So I'm really excited to see how this episode of the Casual Conversations comes out, and make sure you guys subscribe. Oh yeah.
And I'm just going to be transparent with you guys. Please go watch this interview with Ethan Page. Go watch it, share it, like it, listen to it, do whatever you can with this interview with Ethan Page, because if this interview gets a good response and good feedback, I will most likely be able to interview more talent from AEW. So once again, yes, thank you, AEW. Thank you, All Elite Wrestling, for the opportunity. And if this interview does well, maybe we'll be able to get some other names from AEW on the Casual Conversations. And let's hope we do. I enjoy talking to Ethan Page. He made it really comfortable right off the bat. Just a good dude with a great personality. Was easy to talk to. Just a good Canadian dude, a fellow Canadian dude. And realized we had a lot in common because we were around the same age. And, you know, I'm so inspired by his fitness journey and his weight loss journey and everything he's been doing through the past couple of years since I started following him, and I'm glad to see that we got to. I mean, I'm glad that we got to sit there and talk to him for a bit. And I know Mike's been a huge fan of him for years, so I made sure Mike was on there with me as well. And we had a good flow, Mike. I think we had some good back and forth, you know.
Yeah, I felt the same way because they're, with the topics, it, flowed freely. And it was just a great casual conversation, as in the title. So
I love how he's like, yo, that was a great intro. And I'm like, I just figured out the intro like 5 minutes before, before we started recording.
Pretty much. And yeah, like I said, Justin's the master of keeping it casual, and I'm here to also keep it as professional as possible. So, I mean, it was great to really get that story from him, and you guys should definitely check it out.
There's another interview I did that I might only they're trying to get approval from the larger company before I release it. But I will just say, if I'm not allowed to release it, Patreon users, yes, we're gonna get it. What were you gonna say, Daniel?
No, I was gonna say you guys remind me of a certain tag team. A certain Rockers.
Are you trying to ask us who the Genetti is? Because we already know.
It's Justin, Mike.
We know it's mine.
It's Mike.
Daniel, you just woke up at like 5 p.m. in the afternoon, so you can check out the interview. You can check out the interview after this is done, and you can tell us who the Genetti was. Okay?
I mean, it's you.
No, it's Daniel. It's speaking about that. When's the last time we got a Dropkick podcast interview? How many weeks has it been?
You know what? I took a hiatus because it was WrestleMania.
Hiatus?
This guy's like a hiatus. What is that, a disease?
Anyways, moving forward.
Mike did an interview with some dude named Joe Davis, who was like
some dude
for the LA Dodgers or something like that. Some baseball team, I think. I'm joking. I know all of this for sure. I'm just being a dick. Go check that out. It's a really good interview.
Thank you.
Shout out to Mike. Great setup. Great look. Grow your go back, but good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room. We're 7 minutes in, and we haven't even got to it yet. But woke up today, knew I had to record the TWC show after the Ethan Page thing. Was sitting there like, wow, Raw sucked. Dynamite wasn't its greatest, and we'll dive into that for sure. And NXT I didn't watch, but things happened.
Yeah.
There's not really much to talk about since we already did the WrestleMania recap. I'm like, there's not, like, we already did the WrestleMania recap. Once again, guys, you can find it. It was a bonus episode. I want to release it earlier than later. I actually want to release it before Raw, so like nothing changed my perspective of what we thought about WrestleMania. So that's why we did that. But I was like, if we're not going to talk about WrestleMania on this show, what are we going to talk about? And then the unfortunate Black Thursday happened. The unfortunate spring cleaning. The same day it happened last week, to the date, the exact same date.
Was it the date?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's good.
We have more releases.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read the names. And Daniel, I don't know what you just named, but I'm echoing. I'm gonna read the names of the people that were released. Give me 1 second here. We got. Oh, sorry. I opened my Instagram and like Renee Paquette's pregnancy shoot popped up. Shout out to Renee Paquette. She's dope. Get her cookbook, guys. And she's on People's Magazine. So
congratulations.
Go check out People's Magazine, Renee Paquette thing. And
she's the GOAT, bro.
She's a great person. I did a casual conversation with her, guys. So go check that out if you haven't yet. The current list of WWE releases from today. We have Samoa Joe, Mickie James, Peyton Royce, Kay, Chelsea Green, Wesley Blake, Tucker, Kalisto, and Bo Dallas. Those are just the names as of right now. These might be the only names. Let's hope these are the only names. But there's a lot of people speculating that there will be more names announced either later today or tomorrow morning. That being said, because there's not much to talk about besides me breaking down Dynamite this week after, I'm going to go down the names one by one, and I want you all to give your opinions. Samoa Joe, I'm not going to go first because I will ramble. Daniel, how do you feel about the Samoa Joe release?
I was kind of devastated. Like I woke up like literally 30 minutes ago and I saw that. I thought it was like a prank or something. And then, they got rid of one of the best submission, artists in the entire company, and that's Samoa Joe. And I think it's gotten to the point where he doesn't need to be there. Like he has enough star power to go to like New Japan or AEW or Impact to like really help that company. So I'm not too worried about him, but I'm worried about like the other stars, obviously. So
How are you feeling about it, Sock Money Mike?
You know what? Honestly, as a fan of Samoa Joe and what he did in Impact, I feel like this is not the end for him. I feel like that he should venture out into new companies, maybe New Japan, maybe something going along with maybe something like MLW, who really hasn't. I mean, it's fire, but it's not necessarily in the same conversation as AEW yet. So, maybe branch out to some stuff like that. Maybe we might see him on AEW and become a new hot prospect. So whatever it is, I'm hoping the best in the future of Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, personally, I think it sucks. I think Samoa Joe's a guy that definitely should have been a WWE champion, a Universal champion during his time in the WWE. I won't say he was necessarily misused. A lot of what I think might have been part of this is that he was quite injury prone. That's the only reason I can think about why they wouldn't keep him there, is he did get hurt a lot. But it's Samoa fucking Joe, man. Like, why would you let go of Samoa Joe, even if he does get hurt a lot, even if he didn't want to put the belt on him because he didn't think it was a lot? Like, it's Samoa Joe. Anywhere he goes, it's gonna be Samoa Joe. And I don't think he was underappreciated, because I think they knew what they had with Samoa Joe, but I do think he wasn't utilized to his biggest potential in the WWE. And even in the sense of commentary, like, why would you take him off and put this Adan Verk guy on? And no disrespect to him, it was night one from Raw this week. It wasn't that great, but it was night one, so giving him the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see how he gets progressive as we go on. But you took him off commentary for this guy? I mean, you could even put Joe with Michael Cole on SmackDown if you want to move Graves to Raw, and you could still use Joe on commentary because he brings that insight from an in-ring perspective, and he was good at it. As much as all of us want to see him back in the ring, he was good in that role. Very shocking. Don't know where we'll see Joe, whether he makes it in the Ring of Honor, whether he does some stuff with GCW. I was also saying in a Clubhouse chat earlier that, like, Joe's the type of guy too that I could see in AEW. Yeah, he could wrestle if they wanted him to wrestle, but I could see him being an agent or a producer back there helping the younger talent put on better and whatnot. He can play that. He's been in the business since like the early 2000s. I want to say 2002, but
same as CM Punk.
I just feel like everyone's 2002, but I think he's been around there for a long time. And him and Punk went back and forth on Twitter, and they kind of had like a sarcastic comment about, oh, feel bad for them for paying. Like, at the end of the day, like, he got paid for all those years, even if things didn't go the way they planned. Like Punk, I mean, Joe got paid.
Joe, yeah.
So that's one way to look at it. Like, at least he got paid, man. Like, whatever. Other than that, yeah, quite devastating in that sense. I want to talk about the Iconics, though. Why the fuck would you release the Iconics? First thing was, why'd you break them up? And now you release them. Billie Kay had a personality on SmackDown. She was doing this thing, and it was interesting. Like, it was good stuff with Billie Kay. Peyton, they did not know exactly what to do with her. Yeah. She had a hell of a promo on Raw Talk a few weeks back. Had a match with Asuka, and now she's gone. What's like, both these women, one, had potential as single stars. They also had potential as a group. Why would you just? I don't get it.
Yeah. So I think with the Iconics, it is very. You're right. Like, Billie Kay traveled all the way from Australia to the United States just to be kind of mistreated in a sense, because their first run with the tag belts didn't go as planned, But I think the Iconics are one of those teams, and they're so young that they'll bring him back, down the line. But they're, I feel bad for him, But I hope they find success elsewhere. And, the grind just doesn't stop for him. So, yeah.
Mike?
I agree with those points. I mean, I've seen the Iconics journey from their start in NXT when they didn't have a tag team name. And then all of a sudden, now with them being releases, I understand why they were released, I think, because, Payne wasn't doing that much in terms of having a storyline for her or having kind of an idea for her, aside from being in a tag team with Lacey Evans, and then all of a sudden she's in another tag team that we don't know where she's going at this point. So I understand if that her journey had to be put to a halt. Same thing with Billie Kay. Billie Kay's was really unfortunate because she had something going for her on SmackDown, being a potential client for commentary, or being a potential client for one of the other female athletes of SmackDown. So, it's really unfortunate. I'm really sad to see her go. But again, with these releases, I feel like that it's also a blessing in disguise in a sense, because like the releases last year, there could be some big potential star power in the independent wrestling scene, as you say. You know what I mean? There could be the Iconics go to AEW and make their women's division even bigger than it was before. Maybe they could go to and maybe they could go internationally. Maybe they could try somewhere like a Stardom, or they could try somewhere like in the Australian professional wrestling scene. Maybe they could start that up again, or maybe they could start their own wrestling school. Or the message that I'm trying to get here is that the options are endless when it comes to their next step. So I'm really hoping that the best for both of them, and this is not the end of the Iconics.
No, I agree, and I think for Peyton especially, she's someone I think would work in AEW great and bring some value to their women's division, but also you put up with her husband, and you all of a sudden have made Shawn Spears feel more relevant, like that. Similar, and I'm not even dissing Shawn Spears. I used to feel the same way about The Miz back before Maurice came back in 2014 or 15 or whenever that was. 16. I used to always be like, man, you know what would really complete The Miz package is having his hot wife with him. It gives you more of a reason to hate him. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's fair. Yeah.
I feel the same way with Shawn Spears. If you put Peyton with him, it's like, oh, F this guy even more. He's with her. Like, it works. Mm-hmm. And she can go in the ring. So that's what I'd look forward to. Billie Kay, though, like I to see the Iconics back together would be dope somewhere. I hope she just gets picked up. I feel bad for those two because, like you said, they travel over here from Australia. At least Peyton married someone from America, so she ain't going nowhere. But is Billie on a work visa? Is she sponsored by the WWE? Like, what's her situation? Is she going to be like after something like that? That's the one thing that I'm kind of concerned about. Other than that, we got Bo Dallas, which is surprising but not surprising.
I'm kind of shocked because there were a lot of rumors with like the Fiend storyline that like Bo Dallas was going to be like tied into it. So I was like, oh, they're finally going to use this guy who's so good at telling stories and whatnot. But I don't know, man. He's in his late 30s, I want to say, and again, a guy in NXT, the first NXT champion. No, not the first, the second.
Whoa.
Was he the second or third? He was the
third.
First one.
He was the longest reigning NXT champion.
There we go.
He was the longest reigning, and he was number 3.
There we go. Thanks, guys. But he's so good at what he does. But I think he would be great in New Japan. He would be killing it there if he went there, honestly. So. And
he's steal from my boy Neeson from THS Wrestling. He's living a great life. He's living, aka live. He's doing good with himself. He's doing fine with himself. There's a ton of potential. Him and his brother are two of the most talented guys out there and underappreciated. And Bray gets a lot of love, but Bo doesn't. Mickie James, once again, this one doesn't like blow my mind like crazy because Mickie James, like she's been around here before, she's left before, she'll be fine wherever she goes. I don't know. Like I just like once again they could bring her back as a trainer or producer or something, but other than that, like as a talent, sure. Kalisto, Vic's 6th favorite wrestler of all time. Kalisto.
Should mute me? No. So I think Kalisto is one of those guys who can go to AEW and have like bangers with like Pac or like Ray Phoenix. Like he's one of those guys that can just go, and he looks great. He's in his best shape of his life.
Okay, so what throws me about Kalisto is the fact that 1 second. I'm just gonna try muting you because I feel like I only echo off your phone. Yeah, I don't understand why.
Why?
I think Kalisto for me is like he's the only luchador in the past like 10 years that they've actually pushed. Like all the rest of the luchadors haven't been one of those people that they pushed to be like that kind of luchador. Like look, we got Grand Metalik, we got Lince Dorado, but none of them are as popular as Kalisto. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think again he doesn't get that love, and that kind of really demolishes his just push in a sense because he had bangers with Alberto Del Rio back in 2016, and he did that cool spot like a couple years ago when he did that. It was in like a ladder match, and he did like that somersault. Yeah. See, you know more about Kalisto than I do. It's weird.
I do.
And fun fact about Kalisto, he was a huge deal in the independent scene before getting signed to NXT.
See, there we go. He's the man.
Thank you, wrestling historian Mike. We also had Chelsea Green, which another situation of getting injured too often, I think.
That one's weird because Chelsea Green was in a weird situation. I honestly think, and this could be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like that they WWE could have had the idea of doing what Chelsea Green was doing in Impact with the whole Laurel. No, I can't remember the whole name.
Laurel.
Thank you. And I thought they were going to do that kind of angle when she signed, but sadly, you know, she wasn't treated properly. I don't think as a talent because she was first brought in and then she was immediately put into a tag team with Deonna Purrazzo, and then she had that whole thing where Purrazzo's Titantron would be on when she debuted on Raw, but then all of a sudden Purrazzo gets released by WWE. Okay, well, what do you do with Chelsea Green? And then you kind of, you know, assign her with Robert Stone, which was absolutely great in NXT. I like, there's no doubt about that. But then Chelsea Green moves up to the main roster per se and goes to Raw. And then there's nothing for her. So it's really sad to see her go. And she would have had a lot of potential to do a lot of storylines with like maybe a Carmella storyline where they're trying to outdo each other. And maybe they could have fought over Reginald. I don't know.
And they were literally trying to like promote a feud between Chelsea Green and Mickie James. Like she was teasing it. They were trying to maybe do that stalker feud between Mickie James had with Trish. And now that's totally out the window.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's really unfortunate, you know. It's really unfortunate.
I think she's a talented person. I think she would have prospered in the WWE. I do think her injuries stunted her success. Unfortunately, that was one of those situations. Because when they did the draft and she was showing up on SmackDown, they were featuring her prominently. Like I think they had big plans for her.
Yeah.
And it's her. And that sucks. She's from here. She's from my hometown of Vancouver, this area. She's from Vancouver, Ireland. And I wish her the best of success. I can see her going back to Impact for sure. The thing about a lot of these wrestlers is that none of them are going to be allowed to work anywhere until like July, which is so crazy to think about. The last two were basically Tucker and Blake Wesley. Blake from, Blake and Murphy, from the Forgotten Sons. The Forgotten Sons broke up when Jackson Riker said all that stuff on social media. That was completely mega, which he's still with the company, which is interesting to say. And then they put Blake and the other guy who was in Forgotten Sons with Baron Corbin, but they dropped that really quick, and now he's out of the company, which is kind of a bummer. He's a good dude, and you could have put Blake and Murphy back together if they fucking wanted to. And then Tucker totally got screwed in the Otis storyline that Otis ended up getting screwed out of himself.
Yeah, that was really weird because like you make Tucker heel and then all of a sudden you turn Otis heel like that did not make sense.
And Tucker already said that he can't wait to share his story. So everyone here, try to get yourself Tucker or Chris Van Vliet first. Yeah, that's it for the releases. I don't know. It's also like odd to me that Andrade was like literally begging for his release a few months ago, or not even like a month ago, and had to like fight for it. And then a month later, they just released a whole bunch of people anyways.
I don't know. I think that's how the company rolls, man. It's very bipolar and it's very calculated. But I think at the end of the day, man, it's business. And with Corona and everything, they have to, because we saw that last year. We saw Zack Ryder, Heath Slater, a bunch of these guys get released, and it's unfortunate, but this is how life works. And if this doesn't fucking make you, then it breaks you. You know what I mean? So
it's interesting seeing everyone react to it on social media. All the talent stuff reacting to the people that were released. A lot of people like, "Oh, you're releasing stars." People were shocked that Joe was gone and the Iconics. So check out Twitter, man. And if there are more releases, guys, it could literally be anyone. There's people I wish would get released. Like I would love to see Tommy Yen free, being able to go to AEW, work somewhere else. Those guys on the roster, like, no disrespect, I know that I forget they're even there, like Mojo Rawley. Like, how is that guy still there? What? Mojo's a nice guy, dude. I'm not even saying like that, but like, you look at a guy like a Samoa Joe, and then you look at Mojo Rawley, and like, how do you come up with that decision?
What's funny?
I don't know.
Velveteen Dream still has like a fucking job there. It's weird.
What's the last time we've been seeing him? And then last thing I want to bring up, like, it doesn't, I know people are like, oh, well, this person won't get released. They just signed a contract for 5 years. No, anybody's susceptible to being released because We heard it from Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson firsthand. They signed a brand new deal because AJ convinced them to stay with WWE, and then the pandemic releases happened and they were gone. And literally, like 2-3 months after signing a new deal, anybody can get released at any time. What that basically means, the word release, for those who understand, no, it doesn't matter what contract you're under. They're releasing you from your contract. That's what a release is. So it don't matter if you just signed a 3-year new deal. That person, they're still susceptible of getting released. Like it's possible. Best to luck to all these people. It's going to be surprising to see where anyone lands. We kind of talked about where Samoa Joe could go, the Iconics. As for everybody else, like I can see Chelsea Green go a bunch of places. I can see Blake and others. But like, look at the people that got released last year. Do you have a list of the people that got released last time?
It's really interesting.
I'll pull it up. Give me a second.
I don't know that.
I know it was like Maverick, but he got hired back.
It was Josiah Williams was a part of that list.
Back. There's a lot of people. There was a ton of people that were furloughed. That's why.
Mike Bennett was a part of that list.
Mike and Maria. Yeah.
So where did Mike? So that's what I want to talk to. So Mike and Maria were on that list. They landed in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to see where everyone ended up. Andrade, that doesn't count.
Heath Miller went to Impact. Matt Cardona is in Impact. What else?
AOP got released. They haven't really showed up anywhere since.
Yeah.
Sorry, I found a website, but it's literally showing everybody that got released in the last year. Jack Gallagher, I haven't seen him anywhere.
Who?
Jack Gallagher.
Yeah.
Did Mike Kyoto did he get released last year?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he landed in AEW, right? Yeah.
Ligero, I don't know where he is anywhere. Obviously, FTR is Kurt Hawkins, Impact, right?
Impact.
Yeah, Impact. Brian Myers.
EC3 was in Ring of Honor and Impact for a bit. I don't know. Is he officially in Ring of Honor?
I don't know if he's officially. I don't know if he's officially signed, but yes, he's in Ring of Honor.
Leo Rush has been killing it in MLW and the independent scene. Gallows and Anderson are obviously in Impact and AEW right now. Eric Young, we haven't seen. Oh, Impact. He showed up at Impact.
Yeah.
Heath Slater, Impact.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden English, we haven't seen show up anywhere yet.
No, he's more of a Midwest guy, so he's been in the independent scene for the Midwest area.
And then Kurt Angle is just Kurt Angle. He's doing his thing, starting a podcast with Conrad. Eric Rowan, we saw him appear once for the Brody Lee tribute show in AEW, which was nice. But other than that,
he's doing indie stuff. So
yeah,
Primo and Epico, I haven't seen anywhere.
They're in Mexico.
Guys.
They're in Mexico. Logan's pregnant. Maria and Mike we already talked about. Zach Ryder had a brief stint in AEW, and I think that was it, right?
But he's currently in Impact, yeah.
Oh, is he in Impact?
Yeah.
Wow, you don't keep up, eh?
No Way Jose, haven't heard of him. Obviously, Rusev is with AEW. Gianna Perozzo went to Impact. Serena Deeb is NWA and AEW. Tay Conti, obviously AEW. Cassius Ono, nowhere that I know of.
He started a podcast.
Chris Cain Velasquez doesn't account. Curtis Axel, we haven't seen him pop up anywhere.
That's true.
And I think that's about it. Everyone else, now we're moving to the people that left, like Matt Hardy and Kathy Kelly and others. But that's nuts. Yeah. Well, that's that. That's like a lot of the people that were released last year end up landing places. Some people haven't been doing much, but regardless of that, like, you know. Yeah. How do you guys feel about the Raw following WrestleMania this week?
I'll let Mike go first.
Wow. Okay. Well, if you want my opinion on it, compared to the Raw after Mania last year, I think it was a little bit better. I felt like that we're so used to Raw after Mania being debuts, and we're used to it being returns and sudden shifts to storyline that it's, game changing and the world's talking about it. We didn't see it this WrestleMania. I felt like that it was a little bit bland. I wouldn't say it's completely horrible. There were some good moments that I'm like, oh, T-Bar and Mace are joining the Hurt Business. Like that's it. Like, I mean, it's questionable, but it makes you think. So I don't know, man. I'd probably give it a C-, maybe. Like, it wasn't horrible, but it was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Two things. Them going back to the Thunderdome, so sad after the WrestleMania we had of 2 nights of fans. Even if it was just 25,000, or whatever the hell it was. Like, it was nice, you know, to have actual reactions and people there to see them react live, other than those dumbass screens. And even in our conversation with Ethan Page, we talked about that near the end of like how much all the wrestlers miss fans and how they, like, you know, got to wrestle in front of fans at that recent house show, and it just was such a difference, you know. It was hard. It was just hard to go back to the Thunderdome after that. It was too much. It was weird. The Viking Raiders returned. Cool. I'm not like, it's not something like I'm like, oh, that sucked or anything like that. It's just my level of like actually giving a fuck is not that high. Notice the Viking Raiders are fucking dope. They were dope in Ring of Honor when they were the, you know, War Machine. They were dope on the NXT when they were on NXT. It's just their main roster run has not been dope. Just straight the fuck up. It just hasn't. The moment they came up as the Viking Experience, to playing games with the Street Profits for months, to fighting ninjas, like it hasn't been good.
Right.
It's been entertaining at times for sure, but it hasn't necessarily been good to the extent that when they came back, I'm like, oh no, everybody's doomed. The Viking. No, I never felt that way at any point.
I've always felt like that with the main roster, and obviously this is probably not an unpopular opinion at all. You know, you have someone like dominant in NXT or in the independent scene, and then you have them on Raw. It's different because it's a very diverse crowd between two, and it just sucks. But I feel like that the Viking Raiders, you know, hopefully they could be serious again like they were in NXT. But at this point in time, I don't see that happening for the foreseeable future.
No, that's fair, man.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Viking Raiders returning, Daniel?
How did you say it like that? What the fuck? How did you feel? Well, I mean, I'm on the same level as you guys. I felt really underwhelmed because, you know, Raw after WrestleMania, it's very, like, we have high expectations of things. Shout out to Maestro Classic. The greatest.
If you're watching the video on Patreon, you know why he's reacting to that. But go on.
Such good shit. But I expected Ronda Rousey or Brock to come, but, like, you know, my expectations are like way up here, but they should be way down here. And
we got Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair came back, and I'm not listen. I know Charlotte Flair gets a lot of hate. I'm a Charlotte Flair fan, but I know she gets a lot of hate from people in all my circle of wrestling friends, whether it's the THS guys, whether it's you guys in the Tope group chat, like. Everywhere I go, Charlotte gets my Devin, original co-host of the TWC Show, shits on Charlotte. Charlotte gets a lot of hate from all my groups of friends. I like Charlotte Flair. I'm a Charlotte Flair fan. Yeah. I'll give her credit where credit's due. I think she did break out of the shadow of her dad. It's just that they keep bringing her dad back. That's not on her. And also, I watched Raw this week. I was bored for majority of it. Her promo was the best part of this show.
I was gonna say, yeah. And you know what, man?
She didn't lie.
She didn't, and it's so cool to see where she's at right now in her career because she's the 14-time women's champion. And
14, the way you said it, the 14-time.
Yeah, 14-time. Yeah, she's 14 times, bruh. And she's 2 away from tying Ric Flair, her poppy. And I think you know what, man? I'd give it to her over Cena. I'm just
saying. Wait.
Yeah. Wait. There's just some, dislike for that guy. I respect the fuck out of him, but when you bury my favorites.
I just came for Cena's life for no reason.
I just,
Okay, but I have a question. I have a
women's champion.
What?
Wait, what?
4-time Raw champion, 5 times SmackDown, so that's 9. And then 1-time Divas, so that's I guess that'd be the same way, but I don't know. 1-time Divas, so that'd be 10. And then 2-time NXT Women's Champion, 11, 12.
Are you counting the tag team titles? Like,
how would I count the tag team titles? It's not a women's championship. It's a women's tag team championship. Mike,
no, because he said 13 times.
She's the 5th ever women's Triple Crown champion, the 4th ever women's Grand Slam champion. She's won a women's Royal Rumble. She won the NXT Women's Championship. Like, she's main evented WrestleMania. What is left for Charlotte Flair to do other than win the Money in the Bank?
Win the NXT Women's Tag Team titles.
Hey, Mike. That's what I was suggesting, you guys.
No, but she should, tie her dad's record, man. She deserves it. I don't think she should necessarily break it. That should be Randy Orton, in my opinion.
John Cena.
Fuck John Cena.
Oh, bro, fuck that guy.
I respect John Cena. I respect everything he's done for the business and what he's stood for and all that stuff. But fuck John Cena.
Nah.
I just hypocrite. That guy's the biggest hypocrite propaganda king. Hypocrite and propaganda. Would I have a beer with him? Fuck yeah. Do I care for his wrestling career? Fuck no.
So you don't care about the prototype?
No, fuck it. His prototype for propaganda? John Cena. That's what he's.
Okay, I'll say I only like Cena. I only like Cena in his Doctor of Economic days. Like, come on.
I know this is not a John Cena podcast. I just put a cat in the podcast. Sorry, it's not a John Cena podcast. And that's all that fucking happened.
But you know who should beat Ric Flair's record? Not his daughter, but the man himself. Okay, the man, the myth, the legend. I am talking about.
Usually Johnny Gargano.
No. Why are you laughing? No.
Johnny Gargano should be a 17-time world champion.
Can I say who it is? Can I say, please?
The floor is yours, Mikey Mike.
Okay.
He's feeling himself.
I think Dolph Ziggler should break that record.
I love Ziggler.
You thought. Anyway, no, Seth Rollins should definitely
let
break
me
that
ask you a
record.
quick question before we move on. Where was Jeff Harvey at WrestleMania? Where was No More Words?
So, all jokes aside, his father did pass away. So I think, with all, I think he needed time, man. I think he needed time and heal. I know the AEW tapings last night we saw was pre-taped. So Matt Hardy's like, with Jeff right now, they're just kind of, together with their family and stuff. So I was bummed to hear the news, but I get it. When someone passes, you need time to grieve and, heal. So, Jeff can take as long as he wants. And, I hope he comes back whenever he's ready, man. So, yeah.
Now, Dax Harwood just put over Wesley Blake on Twitter saying, I wish you all knew just how good he actually is. I've said it many times, and I'll bet my colleagues agree. He's a modern-day Bobby Eaton. That's a huge praise for coming from Dax Harwood. And running with old-school wrestling fans like Bobby Eaton.
That's crazy, man.
One of the good ones. And, yeah. Everyone's just out here reading. I'm just reading people's Twitter.
You know what I just thought about, guys? I don't want to be that guy, and I love this guy on the roster. I think he's one of the best in the world. I feel like Mustafa Ali is going to be next.
No, we talked about that Clubhouse. It could be Ali. There's a lot of guys in the top tier guys, but there's so many guys that are on that roster, and it makes you wonder. Like I was reading the NXT list of names. I'm like, I don't even know who 4 or 5 of these people even are.
Yeah.
Like, who are they? Speaking of NXT, Mike, Roderick Strong resigned from the brand. SmackDown tomorrow or tonight, I guess, if this releases on Friday. SmackDown.
I think so, but see, here's the problem. The problem is Roderick Strong, and I've mentioned this before on past TWC shows and everything that you've done that involves me. Roderick Strong is a great in-ring competitor, but he doesn't have charisma. He doesn't have the promo skills, and it just it's very sad because I've been a fan of Roderick Strong for ages when I used to watch him back in the independent scene. So if he goes to the main roster, it's going to be very hard. I mean, we obviously saw that when he was in that 205 Live tournament for the Cruiserweight Championship. No one, sadly, had that belief system on his own. That's why he joined the Undisputed Era. That's how he had to gain his confidence back. And then now he has gained all this knowledge, and now he resigned from NXT. I don't know what the future is going to hold for him. Is he just going to be this cocky baby face? Because, I don't see this guy doing what Adam Cole possibly could do in the main roster. I don't see him doing what he does in the, on Raw or SmackDown, because we all know the main roster doesn't do good for NXT talent.
I want him on SmackDown rather than Raw. And I think there's a couple of bangers that you could have with Chad Gable. I don't know how they can get there, or they can make those guys a team. But that shit works too.
Nope.
I don't know. Did we have this discussion on the recap? Did we have this discussion on the call? Or did we have this discussion on the TWC show? We all talk so much, and I had talked to so many of my wrestling friends. I don't remember where this discussion happened. Mm-hmm. But and I know Daniel was there for sure, because I was bringing up how you brought up Adam Cole's name, and I don't want to change the subject too much because we got 20 minutes to talk about AEW after this. But I Everyone's like, yo, Adam Cole coming to the main roster is gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick if he comes to the main roster. I'm like, yo, I'm a big Adam Cole fan. Been an Adam Cole fan
I remember this.
years now when he was on the Independence and in Ring of Honor and early days of the TWC. Like, scroll down my post, I'll probably post still down there where people would be like, who do you think from the Independence would be in the WWE back in the day? And I'd always say two people, Adam Cole and Marty Scurll. Adam Cole's been in NXT and part of the WWE family now. He's been amazing. He's put on bangers on NXT. He's put on great matches against Pat McAfee, this and that. But let me tell you something about NXT that I've noticed, especially in the last few years. And don't get me wrong, they have big guys on NXT, but it is by no means the land of giants on NXT. It is not a roster of big guys. And Adam Cole, relatively, is a smaller guy. And people are like, no, he's not. He's pretty big. He's like the same size as Daniel Bryan, or he's the same. Like, but I'm like, look at guys like Daniel Bryan. They're ripped. They're jacked. They got arms. They got mass on their arms, and they actually look like jacked up dudes. You know what I mean? Rey Mysterio is not good, but he looks jacked. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Adam Cole is like genuinely small. Like, his arms are like just like my regular arms. Like, he's a small guy. So if you have Adam Cole go up there, and it would be different if Daniel Bryan was the champion now, or Edge was the champ, and Adam Cole confronted one of them. I don't know. That makes sense to me. It clicks. I can see that happening. But if Adam Cole was to go to the main roster and confront Bobby Lashley or Drew McIntyre or Roman Reigns, I feel like just from his presentation of a smaller looking guy, you would get eaten alive. Like, I wouldn't take it seriously.
But it goes to the point too of, like, we live in a generation now, and we live in a scene for wrestling that the smaller guys are the next big thing. Like, as much as we want to say that, a lot of
they're jacked. Even AJ Styles has math on him. You know what I mean? Adam Cole's skinny.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, I mean, there's a reason why Adam Cole's so over. It's because his personality and the way that he competes in the ring is like phenomenal. Look at the matches that he has with, you know, Kyle O'Reilly back in Ring of Honor.
I'm not talking about being over with the hardcore wrestling fans that watch NXT. I'm talking about or the independent fans that watch independent wrestling. I'm talking about being over with that casual fan that's flipping through the channels, stops on Fox or USA to watch professional wrestling, and they watch other things like UFC and all this other shit, and they see this little skinny guy up there against Drew McIntyre. I'm worried those fans are talking about resonate with them because they don't give a fuck what he did in the Indies. They don't give a fuck what he did on NXT. They're going to learn about him for the first time.
Right.
And they're not going to know the whole baby thing. They're not going to be a part of the whole thing that us wrestling fans are a part of that we just know coming into it. They're going to come into it and be like, who the hell is a small guy up against the guy that I saw in the Fast and the Furious movie with The Rock?
That's true. I mean, I get those points, but I feel like that hopefully, you know, that will change.
Brett was jacked. Sean was jacked. Benoit was jacked. Jericho had mass on him.
I mean, then that comes into play. Like, should roids be a thing?
This guy's like,
no, I'm gonna jump the gun, guys.
Whoa!
This guy's starting a whole steroids trial here, man.
I'm kidding. Please don't cancel.
Is that gonna be a Patreon exclusive?
No,
that comment?
That's a fair question. Should roids be a thing in professional wrestling? Because it doesn't. Roids is obviously illegal because it does have really bad side effects and whatnot, yada yada yada, long-term effects to people's bodies, etc. But it's also illegal in so many other sports because it enhances your ability at the sports in the sense of you're cheating, you know, using like enhancements, right? Wrestling's fake. Like,
dang.
Yeah, but I think
what are you enhancing by using roids besides your own look? Are you enhancing the ability to scoop slam someone or suplex someone? That takes two people to do that in the first place. It's not like you're just actually picking people up. Like, you're not enhancing anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the only reason why they're
great television show. It's a great scripted television show. It's athletes in other sports would not be able to do what wrestlers do. So I'm not downplaying what wrestling is, but I'm just saying, where does steroids actually play a place in wrestling other than the long-term effects that it has on wrestlers? That is like, that's a different conversation. But when it comes to actually enhancing their abilities,
no comment.
I think the only reason why they're not doing it because they don't want that Benoit tragedy, man. Like, of course,
the long-term effects.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it's again, you know, that's why we got no chair shots to the head now. You know what I mean? It's totally different. It's a whole different game. But I don't know.
AEW. Let's talk about Dynamite this week, okay?
Oh god.
Yeah, this conversation went way. Yeah. So AEW.
That's worse, guys. Come on.
the show didn't suck. Okay, the opening tag match was great. Pac and Ray Phoenix versus the Young Bucks was good. Did it need to open the show? No. And this is common complaint. I understand Jim Ross is like a huge supporter of this, so I'm sure if he's in this production and booking meetings, he's probably brought up. But the best is when you start a show off hot with a match. It is good. But if you do it every fucking week, it's not good no more. I need a show to open with a promo once in a while. I'm not talking about a quick backstage MJF bumping into Mike Tyson promo or the Young Bucks. Like, I want someone to come to the ring and sell me on something that happened last week at the beginning of the show. Not every week. I'm just saying I need this. For the last 5 to 6 weeks, I feel like you've just started with wrestling matches, and I'm already checked out of the show before I'm even checked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that point, too, I mean, I love that strategy, too, because it gives you 1 week that you have hot action, starting off, and then you have a promo that from either someone like Sean Spears, who feels like he's the outcast of the Pinnacle, or or something like I agree with Justin's point of saying, tell the story, like have that person tell the story.
Why am I going to stay here for the rest of the show? You know what a promo does? And I know it got played out in the Attitude Era Monday was. I'm like, oh, the promos beginning shows. The reason they used to do that is because you have someone come out there, sell you on a story that's going to keep you watching the show till the end from that beginning promo. If I tune into AEW and just want to watch the first 20 minutes of it to see what the show's going to be like, if you give me a match at the beginning, especially a match like the Young Bucks and Phoenix and Pac, which don't get me wrong, could have been in the top of the hour, could have been the main event of the show. Really could have, over the whole Matt Hardy Darby debacle. But like, when you have that as the first match show, once again, to the casual fans. If I tune in, I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. Who are these people? Why are they flipping around? And also, if I left right now, they've given me no reason to stay to watch the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like off of that logic too, because if you compare the Attitude Era and the way that they told their stories then compared to now, I mean, if you look at that time, if you started off with the promo that night on Monday Raw's War, then you're basically hyping up for what it is, the main event. I felt like as watching some old Raw's Wars that they were focusing on the main event, which they should. But it did.
There's a thread throughout the entire show. That's a thing.
Well, yeah, but that thread sadly wasn't focusing on like what's happening with the Hardcore Championship. What is happening with?
That's a lie, because everybody had an angle there in the Attitude. Everyone was a character, a personality. This show doesn't feel like that. I can't even remember some of the stuff that happened. Some go-go guy had a match. I don't even know. Nightmare Factory B team. Like what?
Anthony Ogogo, and that's.
TB team, like I don't like. What do we?
It's the Factory, but yes.
I think there's so many good matches.
The show was decent to an extent. It got over 1 million viewers unopposed from NXT, so congratulations AEW. You got the viewers that probably were watching NXT, watching a show on Wednesdays now. Good shit. Let's see what the ratings are next week, because that's a theory, right? The ratings of this week's show is kind of usually representative of the ratings of whatever happened last week. So the ratings of next week's show really represents what happened this week, because that means you got those viewers that tuned in last week to tune in again. If those ratings drop below 1 million, they're probably celebrating now, like, we got over 1 million. That was a great show. That wasn't based on this week. That was based on just you guys aren't opposing NXT no more. You got those viewers to tune in. Now, did you keep them for next week?
But see, that's the thing too, is that with the end of the Wednesday Night Wars, or if there wasn't even a war in the first place, like I feel like that with NXT moving to Tuesdays now, and then AEW becoming the predominant promotion for Wednesdays, I feel like that excitement and feeling of what show is going to be better than the other one is lost now, because like now you have episodes like NXT, which they put on a solid show, and then you have AEW, which like, okay, it's Wednesday, it's reserved for AEW, and then it doesn't deliver. Like there has to be that that missing feeling of like, if there's competition, we got to step it up the next week, or we got to step it up this. Like I feel like that there's that loss of competition, or that kind of we got to do better each and every week.
What were you gonna say, Daniel?
I think there's so much good wrestling on the show, but there's no storyline, like you brought up, during the Monday Night Wars, or, back in the day with Nitro and WWF, like there's a thread throughout the show with Nitro, with Raw, like there was each moment mattered. Val Venus came out with, with The Godfather, that mattered because there were so many little things that tied into the show, and the conclusion was the end, the big finale.
100%. And we watched episode of Raw where it was just Austin chasing Paul Bear out throughout the entire show, but everything in the middle mattered. They had other angles. DX was gonna have Triple H versus X-Pac, and they're building that up throughout the night too. Like everything mattered. The other thing that bothers me about the show, and this is just what bothers me about AEW regularly, the show, the overall, like everything that happened on the show was good. I'm actually not shitting on it. Like, yeah, I made fun of the Nightmare Factory B team. That was just a joke. Everything on the show was necessarily good. The only problem is the order they put things in.
Yeah.
I don't like the order they put things in. Why? Like, I don't give a crap. Like that. Okay, maybe everything wasn't good because that main event with Darby and Matt Hardy was a clusterfuck. That was WCW 2000 style clusterfuck. There was everybody was out there at one point. Next thing, they all disappeared and everybody's fine all of a sudden. Lance Archer's coming out there to impress Sting, I think, but he wanted to wrestle Sting. And then Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page come out there but run away. Like just a giant cluster fuck of wrestling. Like I love chaos in wrestling, but I love chaos in wrestling when it fucking makes sense. And then this dude just jumped through tables for God knows what fucking reason. There was no heat between Matt Hardy and Darby Allin. One thing happened at a house show week when they built this match, TNT Championship, but let's put each other through tables and beat each other up with chairs because it was actually heat. There was no heat. There's no story. Matt Hardy was just fighting Adam Page. What's his beef with Darby Allin? Makes no sense.
I feel like, and I agree with your points, it's just that I feel like with the AEW, they're so, you know, they're, and I'll say this because I'm a part of the fans that think this way, that it's the alternative, I don't know if that's a word, alternative to WWE, because it's
trash matches with no storylines.
But see, that's the thing, is that we're so focused on something. It's different than WWE, that they produce a cluster, whatever you just said, together, and it's, you know, we only can focus on that, and we don't have that same outburst or that same.
I want to complain about this too, but what the hell is the women's division?
Exactly.
No. Listen,
Britt Baker should be the women's champion now. That match that they had with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, the acclaimed, amazing lights out match, and was amazing. It was an amazing match. Don't ever want to see a woman bleed that much again. But if that was a great match, I'm not taking anything away from that match. But what happened after? Nothing. Yeah. That should have been the blow off for a title feud. One of these women should have been the champion. Now they're both doing nothing.
Well, see, that's the non-benefits of an unsanctioned match.
No, that's like the non-benefits of doing an unsanctioned match for a feud that has no reward. None of them gain anything from it. Oh, what? Britt Baker got a shirt with her bloody face on it? That's not gaining anything. Like,
no, yeah, I get it.
The women's champion. I don't even. Where was Sheeta? Does she even? I forget she's champion after that. She's facing Tay Conti for the women's championship next week, I think. Give the belt to Tay. Just give it to her. Get the fuck off of Sheeta. Like.
Well, see, that was the same issue with Riho, but way before this pandemic had happened. Like, I understand that she had a deal at the time, and she wasn't able to go to a lot of these AEW shows. But again, that's the same thing with Sheeta. I feel like, and this I could be wrong.
Who did that have her face?
Huh?
Chris.
They got Chris Statlander. They got Baker. They got Thunder Rosa.
They got Allie.
Ford. They got Tay Conti. They got Rose.
Allie.
They got Red Velvet. They got Allie. Red Velvet.
Thank you.
Red Velvet and J. Carlo Girl had a great match, a decent match this week too. Red Velvet is good in the ring. She's great in the ring. Jade Cargill obviously is going to get better in the ring, but she definitely has the fucking look. When she walks out, I'm like, that's a world champion right there. You have all the power and the belts on Hurriko Shida.
I just got breaking news.
Honor Nova. She was great. Congratulations, Nova.
I just got breaking news for when we were talking about releases earlier. It is now confirmed. Mojo Rawley has been released.
You're lying, right? Well, I said that. I should probably, my bad, Mojo.
Wow.
That says BR Wrestling, right? I want to make sure.
Yeah.
You're getting the if you're on Patreon, you're getting the exclusive.
No, Mojo's on WWE's.
Justin, man, you fucking cursed it, bro.
Oh man.
By the way, I mean, with Mojo's situation, he was a former 24/7 champion, but other than that, they didn't really have anything for him anyway, which is pretty sad. They had a gimmick for him where like he had like face paint on this eye, and he was like mad at himself for like a broken glass. I wish him nothing but the best, though. Maybe he could find success in Impact or somewhere like that. But
let's get the Hype Bros reunited, guys. Woo!
This man wants the Hype Bros back. Wow.
Woo woo woo! You know it. But yeah, Amber Nova finally, after
Fine, her interview. I know I just talked a whole lot of shit, but I really do love your product, and I'm a fan, and I'm only saying this because I want you guys to do better, and I want you guys to be that alternative. I want you guys to be like the best alternative. I don't want people to, and I'm not even looking for the hardcore fans because, they're gonna watch whether the wheels fall off or not, because that's what hardcore wrestling fans feel. They're loyal to the fucking core. I'm a hardcore wrestling fan. I'm gonna watch you guys if I think the show's bad or good. My point was just it can be better, and I'm someone that deals with all the fans on a regular basis on my Instagram page, including casual fans, because I got a ton of casual fans that follow me that used to only watch the old school shit, but they follow my page because I post the old school shit and the new school shit. I want you to be able to cater to them too. I want them to be entertained when they watch this show too. I don't want to be sitting with a buddy that barely watches wrestling and going, what the fuck is happening on this show? What's the storylines? Why is Mike Tyson here? Why is he with these people? Why wasn't that the main event? That was the coolest part of the show. Why are people going for, these guys aren't even feuding, but they're putting each other through tables and trying to kill each other?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But yeah, sign Amber Nova on that note. She's great.
Sign Danny Limelight.
It's about time, I know
This
she's
is,
been like
this is
on.
for Amber Nova, not for
I know
Daniel.
she's been. Let me talk. All right? I don't get a chance to talk about the hottest free agent in professional wrestling, that is Amber Nova.
Go ahead, talk about the hottest.
Okay,
The hottest.
You know what I meant. You
On
know
the
what
independence in Amber Nova.
the hottest free agent on the
The hottest.
independence.
Wait, Daniel, can you look at the camera really quick and say that one more time?
The hottest free agent on the independence scene, the Amber Nova. And it's cool because she appeared on Dark and she gets to appear on Dynamite, and that was pretty cool. I didn't expect her to be on Dark. I know that's Mike's favorite show. Props to you. Great stuff. But I hope she appears more often. It's cool to see a familiar face pop up. If you haven't, checked out my interview with her at the Dropkick Podcast. Keep doing the thing. And yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm big fan of Amber Nova. Interviewed her myself, hung out with her a bunch of times in person at conventions and whatnot. Biggest sweetheart, rep the Wrestling Classic on Instagram. On the Dropkick Podcast, actually. She's good people. I will hope to see more too. And I'm not even just saying it in a biased way. Like from what we saw from her this past week, especially on Dynamite, it was a shorter match against Chris Statlander. She had the facial expressions down. She doesn't come off like she's green. She works well with Chris Statlander, and I'm a advocate for Amber Nova, so definitely hope to see more of her. Other than that, man, the Bucks in the opening match is good. Jericho and Dax was a good all-out brawl. The event, I don't know. I just didn't care about Matt Hardy and Darby, and I don't know how many other. Honestly, there's no feud. That's the thing. There's just no. I didn't even know why they were wrestling each other. I thought it was gonna be like a one-off. Matt Hardy gets a TV championship shot. Cool, have a good wrestling match, but did not need to be an event. Did not need to be some hardcore no DQ brawl. It was unnecessary. If you want to do stuff like that, make the FTW title your little hardcore tough guy title. At least that when those matches happen, we're expecting it, and there's a reason. I don't know. That's just my take. Other than that, I hope there's not those many more releases. I'm shocked that Mojo's. I guess there is. I said that I didn't think there was gonna be more, but now Mojo got released, so we'll see what happens. I just want to wrap this up, though. Guys, we will be back next week. We'll talk about whoever else gets released or whatever else happens. Hopefully Dynamite can keep up getting ratings over 1 million now that they're on Wednesdays alone. I'm wishing the best for them, but just do a little bit better, please, to keep us casual fans entertained. Follow Daniel M8, and at the Dropkick Podcast. Follow Mike at Stock Monkey Mike, wherever. Follow me at the Wrestling Classic, my merch page, TWC Worldwide. If you're watching, it's on the banner below. Sign up to the Patreon. Subscribe to the TWC Show. Look out for the Ethan Page Casual Conversations that will be on the YouTube channel wherever you listen to the TWC Show. And I hope you all keep doing the thing. For my Punjabis out there, happy belated Vaisakhi. To all my Muslims out there, Ramadan Kareem. To everybody else, fucking almost summertime, so let's fucking get this shit going, man. Other than that, I'm done. Ooh, yeah, dig it.